Hey everyone, I'm Aesthetic, and with me is Blank Tester.
Hey kids, how's it going?
And welcome to Wave Race Blue Storm. Wave Race Blue Storm is a jet ski racing game for the Gamecube. It was actually a launch title for the Gamecube, and it's one of those games I held off on playing for quite a while. I, did all the other, GameCube specific exclusive ones like 1080 Avalanche and Go-Go Hypergrind, several years ago, but something in my heart just had me hold off on Wave Race Blue Storm. So I never played it as a kid. I'm coming back to play it now, and, well, if you don't know, Blue Storm is part of the Wave Race series, which started with a Game Boy game. I think Game Boy Color game, just Wave Race. And then Wave Race 64 was on the Nintendo 64. And along with a couple other of those Nintendo exclusive extreme sports games, those, 64, 1080 snowboarding for the 64, and kind of, to me, the third in that trifecta is Excite Bike 64 as kind of the extreme sports games people remember from that console. And 1080 and Wave Race then got GameCube sequels developed in-house. Nintendo NST was that acronym. Yeah. So anyways, Wave Race Blue Storm, GameCube launch title, and we're looking over the characters now. So we have some characters returning from 64, but then we actually have not only some new characters, but some characters from 1080 as well. Akari Hayami is from the 1080 series.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
That's kind of cool that...
a little bit of crossover there.
So the first two you saw, Ryota Hayami and David Mariner, were from Wave Race 64. Then Ayumi Stewart was also from 64. Rob Haywood here is from 1080 as well. He's the muscular American compared to David, who's the fat American. And also from 1080 is Ricky Winterborn, though he's younger in this game. In 1080, he's 20 years old or something, and this one, he's a kid. It's kind of weird. This is what he was doing first.
I guess he was
Oceanborn.
Backstory, I guess.
Yeah, so there's your choice of characters, and you might have noticed their stats, instead of being out of 10, were out of 12. That's just a little odd. Not terrible, but they're just, some people are distributed to be pretty average, middle of the road. Some people are very fast and strong, but then bad at turning.
That's really interesting. You can adjust your handling like that?
Yeah, you can adjust between, you adjust your engine between acceleration and top speed, and then handling between loose and tight, which I will play around with. If not in this video, then in later videos, and kind of show that off some. So, you want to go do something, so you click on championship mode, but first you have to prove yourself in an exhibition. You have to prove that, you're
an exhibitionist.
You're an exhibitionist. Your controller's plugged in and you can hit the right buttons. So
I see Slim Jim.
Yeah, oh man. You're going to see a lot of sponsors across this game. Slim Jim, McDonald's.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I will say, when you streamed this game, the graphics looked, I don't know, in your first stream, the part I caught, because I wasn't there for that stream for most of it, the game looked really, really bad, actually. And the second stream, in my opinion, it looked like, not the gameplay, I mean the graphics, looked really, it looked like the end of the N64 rather than a GameCube game. But then, the second stream, I don't know if it was the stream quality or if it was, in the second stream, the part I caught was you doing the single player, no other competitors things, and it was definitely higher fidelity.
Okay. Because I would say that this game looks pretty good, and,
the water effects look really, really good.
Yeah, one of the hardest things to program is water effects, and in this game, that's kind of that's kind of the real star of the show.
Yeah.
Like, they put a lot of time into that, and you'll actually be able to get, like, different weather on the tracks, and that will change how fierce the waves are, and even the height of the water, and yeah, so that has a lot of, I would say, dynamics, but when it's programmed to act a certain way, it will act that way. But yeah, like you think of other jet ski racing games in just the whole extreme sports genre, and well, first off, if you've seen some of the other games like Carve or I think Splashdown maybe did this. Not the first one, but Ride's Gone Wild. It operates under a pretty standard system where you have to drive on the correct side of those buoys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you have to drive on the right side of a red buoy or you'll miss it. And
right.
You have to drive on the left side of a yellow buoy, so that's how, even in a straightaway of water, they'll make you turn back and forth.
And I saw at the bottom there were 5 markers. Is that you have 4 misses and then on the 5th one you fail, or is it 5 misses and then on the 6th one you fail?
4 misses on the 5th one you fail. And, well, I'll get back to talking about the water in a bit. What I want to point out by going into the tutorial, aside from just like, hey, if you have literally no idea where to start, you know, you can go into this and it'll tell you how to go, is that turning is the most important part of this game. You might notice, or you will notice when I show it, that there's normal turning, but then there's like 2 different ways to get tighter turns.
Huh.
This one is, you know, you turn diagonally with the control stick. You kind of like lean your, back into it. You put your body weight into it. And
I see.
You can turn way faster, or then you can also hit one of the triggers and do a turn that's about twice as sharp. And kind of the reason there's so many ways of turning is that some characters, if they have low turning stats, are just absolutely terrible at it. Like, this game is one of the more, how do I put this? Like, has one of the highest differences between people who are good at a stat and people who are bad at it.
So, like, stats are really important in this game.
Right. But then out of all of those, the most important is your handling. And also what I'm showing off is if you lean into a turn for too long, you'll crash. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so leaning is about twice as sharp, and then you could just turn on a dime if you do the diagonal. But like,
so can you do the trigger and the diagonal to do an even tighter turn, or is it like just one or the other?
I think if you go diagonal, I think that kind of like overrides it.
Okay.
But so I'm gonna show off, like, I did that first race with Ryota, who had a 9 out of 12 in handling, and then I'm gonna go back in this video and play that same course with David, who has the worst turning. And, in some racing games, there's always, in most racing games, there's always the, like, slower but better at turning versus faster but worse at turning kind of difference. Like, I mean, even think Mario Kart, picking Toad versus Bowser. But, like, I would dare say, as someone who, didn't play this game as a kid and hasn't put tons of hours into it, that it's almost unplayable with people who are bad at maneuvering. Like, it does not matter that, you have top speed, you have a perfect and top speed, and you're really strong. If you cannot turn to save your life, you're gonna waste so much more time. Like, even in having...
So it's like you're not gonna be able to turn, so you're not gonna be able to stay on the track, so you're gonna crash. And you're gonna spend time getting up back onto your board, so you won't even get to your top speed and maybe make it up.
It's not even that you're gonna crash, it's that you're gonna, to make sure that you hit a buoy and not fail it, you're gonna have to, like, stop and take it a lot slower. Like, this is David's turning. I missed that red buoy because I didn't even come close to turning well enough to get it.
So can you point out when you're doing the tight turn?
with David.
So that's a tight turn.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's
so,
not very tight at all, yeah.
I'm not even playing this up. Like, to make sure I hit that buoy, I had to basically take such a tight turn that I overdid it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wasn't going to do it, like, at all.
How many laps is...
The Exhibition, all races are 3 laps.
3 laps. So, I guess if you... If there was one buoy you could miss each lap, you know, then maybe you could make it work, but I feel like that's very track dependent.
And, like, this and the easy courses are where, like, David and Rob and those characters have the easiest time. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I'm not even going to talk about, like, how tough...
late game
hard championship gets, expert championship gets, until we get there, because it's like, well, I can spend all of those videos talking about it.
Yeah.
But now, for example, let's show off Nigel Carver, who's got perfect handling.
Yeah.
And, like, now, if you just go straight to him, you'll just, like, without even having to do any of the tighter turn options, you will just like turn on a dime and you'll be surprised. Like, now you've got to be very reserved. Like, that was a normal turn.
Yeah.
These are normal turns. And if you're not expecting it, like, if you're not
so he doesn't
expecting
have perfect turning. He has maximum maneuvering, where it's almost too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, hopefully I'm iterating it correctly. That, like, the characters who are good at turning are so good at turning.
Yeah.
And the characters who are bad at turning are so bad at it that
well,
not only do you have to, like, play a lot of them to get them in your mind, you know, to know what you need to do with them, but to me, like, you almost can't really go back and forth. Like,
between the characters?
If you play around with Nigel a bunch, then... it's really hard to try and play someone else.
Because you get it lodged in your muscle memory.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I mean, to kind of think of Mario Kart again, you could play around with Bowser, and sure, he's not as good at turning as, you know, Mario or like Toad or someone, but it's not gonna completely make you terrible with the other characters.
Yeah.
If you try them out then.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing off that we have the first actual championship unlocked, and in Time Attack, you can go and time trial race the courses that you are about to do for the championship. So you can get a feel for them. It's not like you have to beat the championship to be able to time trial them, like in Carve. So yeah, you can go practice all you want. And that was basically all I wanted to say in this video. Really set you up, hit you with that sweet surround sound. Yeah. But yeah, I just cannot stress that how important like turning is. Cannot stress how different the characters are in their stats. And then, well, next time we'll go to the first actual championship with someone. So I guess Blank Tester, do you have any other questions?
Just an observation at the end there. I thought it was interesting that they actually used a visualizer. They made a visualizer for the music there. They didn't have to. They could have just made a little, basically a GIF, but they, you know, it's actually animating the music you're playing, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Nice little touch.
And in that music list is like the main menu music, and then each character's theme music.
I mean, honestly, a lot of the things that I noticed about the game make a lot of sense, knowing now that it was a launch title for the GameCube. Because, you know, launch titles tend to be, like, they're trying to make a good game, but they also have either contractual obligations or they're made in-house, so they want to include, you know, basically tech demo-y features, you know, so like surround sound wasn't necessary, but they included it because the GameCube supports surround sound, you know, so like they I don't know. That's neat.
So next time we'll start with the first championship, the normal championship, the 5-day circuit, and I'll see you then.